Good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying your week. We're gonna get started here in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. If you can, real quickly jump in the chat and just say hello in the chat. We kind of use that to interact. So just say hello in the chat if you don't want to speak up on your microphone. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. All right, excellent.
Greetings from Barbara Smith, downtown Long Beach. How are you guys? From Cali.
All right, downtown Long Beach. I'm gonna be checking on some homework assignments today.
Good evening. This is Valerie Ball, New Jersey.
All right, how are you?
Hello,
Good, thank
everyone
you.
from Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia, can y'all go outside yet, or y'all still on punishment up there?
Yeah,
Say
I
what?
can go to California.
Good
Y'all
evening.
still on punishment in Virginia? Y'all can go out.
We can go out just a little bit.
A little bit of punishment. Go on the front porch.
Yeah, we're still on a little punishment here.
I understand.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. From Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, Cookie, what's up?
Columbus, Ohio.
Everything's going up.
That's what I like to hear. Things blowing up.
Good evening, sir, from California, Ike Wilson.
All right. Good morning. I mean, good evening. I'm talking about good morning. I don't know what
Oh,
time.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's okay. We all on the same page.
This is Bill from Kissimmee, Florida.
Kissimmee, Florida. Good
I
stuff.
enjoy everything you have going here.
All right. I appreciate that.
I put some notes in the chat for everybody.
All right.
I've been following you 6 weeks. It's amazing.
Good stuff. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, load that chat up.
Good evening, Adolph Mio from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Jersey City, New Jersey. I'll be coming out there soon.
Okay, I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
Where you coming?
We're trying to get something scheduled for August. So, it depends on how things are going. I don't know whether they open and close. They keep opening and shutting the doors all over the place. I don't know what
Where about in Jersey City?
Yeah.
Where about in Jersey City?
I don't have an address yet. I'll be able to let you know actually where it's at once they give me an address. They're looking at a couple of different places. Once they lock one down, then I'll be able to promote it, and I'll definitely know exactly where. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll have it posted. We'll be ready to go. Mm-hmm.
It's Stella Blake, Columbus, Ohio.
All right. Stella Blake, how are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to tonight's training.
All right, good stuff.
I'm loving these.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for loading the chat up too. I know you're somewhere here, Miss Yvette Felton, and thank you for kind of playing the background here and helping out with this training today. We're gonna get everybody muted here and get rolling on this training so we can get through it. I'm gonna do a real quick recap, because anybody who is joining us for the first time or second time, you can certainly go to all of the videos that we have on YouTube with the whole series, and actually everything before the series started. We are on part 4 of this series, which is the last part. But before this series started, we already had some things going as well. So you can look at all those vision board training and getting your affirmations set and all those things. We have all those trainings already on YouTube, so you can get plugged into those trainings as well. And for those who did not see the slide earlier, next week we'll be training on how much how much are you worth, and that's going to be a great training on creating value for yourself and understanding whether you went to college for your degree to pay you or to pay the person you work for. So put on some steel-toe boots. I'm gonna step on a couple of y'all, but y'all, we'll get through it together. We're gonna get through it together without a doubt. So it's really to help you guys. Of course, you guys know I don't beat up people with 9 to 5s. I believe in that wholeheartedly. But I also want you to live your best life, and I want you to get the most out of life that you can. So I want you to take advantage of the opportunities of having a 9 to 5 by being able to build from it. So we're going to talk about that next week, as well as how it works in the entrepreneurial world too, and what your value is and all that stuff. So we're going to cover those things, but right now we're going to get into some recap, 1, 2, and 3, and then go into the past, present, future on this training, and talk about how to use your smart devices as well to benefit from, because some of you guys, the smart devices so smart they're using y'all not using them. So we want to make sure that you're using that so that you guys can build a good business. So let me get this slide show up. Wrong slideshow. Wrong slideshow. I think I'm doing a Zoom. I'm about to do a Zoom for y'all. Zoom. All right. So get past this stuff here. So again, I'm not gonna get into my story for real because I've said it so many times. I'm tired of saying it. I say it every day on something. So if you don't know my story, listen to another one of these videos. I always say my story. The short of it is this: I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I went down to Florida in 2005 to do real estate, which ended up flopping on me because the market crashed, and I lost a bunch of properties, and I ended up turning the rest of them into assisted living. And when I was back able to create a significant amount of income, I opened up 3 or 4 other businesses, and then Legal Shield found me when I owned the tax office. And when that happened, I ended up going into Legal Shield kind of part-time. I wasn't recruiting. I was just selling the identity theft in my tax office. And then I started selling the legal plan, and then I recruited a couple people by mistake. And then from there, it went into me being full-time Legal Shield at some point. Now I'm kind of back part-time Legal Shield because I own another company. But I do love Legal Shield. I do it every day. I do have a team in that, so I am a network marketer, but I'm also on the business solution side. So I have a employee benefits company that I offer Legal Shield through as well. And it's been a wonderful place for me. The residual income has allowed me to do other things when I'm working. My other businesses, I have residual income coming in. I can still work with my team. And that's the great thing about network marketing that I try to get people to understand, is that network marketing allows you to spend a lot of time and energy building it, but then you can leverage that business and then use that free time to do whatever you want, whether it be get married, whether it be spend time with your kids, whether it be travel around the world, whether it be open up another business, whether it be or try to go back to college and increase what you make at your job on your 9 to 5. Whatever you want to do with your time, you can do with it once you've put yourself in a position with a network marketing company to leverage yourself. So don't let anybody tell you that network marketing doesn't work. It totally works 100%. You just got to make sure you're in the right company and under the right leaders, if that makes sense. So network marketing is a great industry to be a part of, and you can really build a very successful business doing that. So currently I do a lot. I got to change that leadership trainer because I am a leadership trainer, but I seem to be doing more vision training nowadays, vision and purpose and mindset training than I am doing leadership training at this point. And then, of course, I'm a 6-figure marketer, and I'm a national trainer as well. And again, my name is Robert A. Dunbar III. Yes, it's 3 of us, and now it's 4 of us because my son is the 4th. So that's how it works. So always start with a quote. Your brain is not here to make you happy. It is here to protect you. So let me dwell on that real quick. So we talk about training your brain. And what I try to get the audience to understand about training your brain is that you really truly can, no hokey, no super spiritual thing. Just, you can really get what you want out of life if you tell your brain what you want. And I guess the best way for me to show that in evidence is where you're at in life right now is based on what you told your brain you wanted. That's where you're at right now, because your brain doesn't really know better. Your brain is really here to protect you. That's what it's here to do. So fight or flight, right? Your brain is here to protect you. Your brain is going to always make decisions. Think about the decisions that you make. Your brain is going to always make decisions to protect you in every circumstance that you end up in. Your body is always going to make a decision to protect you in any circumstance. That's what your body's going to do. It's going to protect you. So it's interesting that I was talking to a doctor, I don't know, I guess when COVID first started, and because I had gotten sick. I didn't get COVID, but I got sick right when it came out. I was actually coming from Virginia and got sick. I was sick for about a week. And I went to the doctor twice to make sure that I didn't have corona at the time. So of course I'm talking to the doctor, and the doctor tells me, I told the doctor I had a fever. And I said, I know that's one of the symptoms of corona. He said, well, yeah, no. He said, well, yeah, it is a symptom of corona. He said, but the problem with that is it's a symptom for everything. And I say, well, what do you mean it's a symptom for everything? He said, well, you get a fever whenever you catch anything, because if you have a virus in your body or a bacteria in your body is trying to heat up to kill the bacteria, because the heat kills the bacteria. He says, so the reason why you get a fever whenever you get sick is because you're probably sick because you have bacteria in your body or something viral, and your body is naturally heating itself up to kill the virus. It's helping to kill the virus along with, the other things in your body that fight the virus. That's one of the components that it uses, is heating your body up. So when you get a fever, you're really getting a fever because your body is trying to protect you from that virus by heating up. And we started talking about other things along that line, and he was saying your body is it's like the best built machine ever. Like nothing that is created is better than what your body does, because everything that your body does is meant to protect you. So it's like, if I know karate, right, and Todd Watson doesn't know karate, and Todd Watson doesn't know how to fight, and I know how to fight, and something happens where 2 or 3 people are trying to get to him, or 2 or 3 people are trying to get to me. Well, if I know karate, my brain knows I know karate, so I don't run because I know how to defend myself. So my body doesn't defend me by making me run. My brain doesn't defend me by making me run or sending that signal to my body to run, because I can't defend myself. Because I know karate and my brain knows I know karate, so I actually stand my ground. I hope that makes sense to people. So if Todd Watson is approached by 3 people, right, he's not a coward because he's running. He's running because he can't fight 3 people. If he doesn't know any kind of self-defense tactics that will allow him to defeat 3 people at one time, his brain is going to naturally tell his body to run, because his brain is trying to protect him from what it sees coming. Does that make sense to everybody? So your brain and your body, they're always going to do things to protect you. So in order for you to get better, you have to understand that you have to trick your brain in order for you to move up to different levels in life, so that you expect different things. It's like when you expect to go on vacation once a year, you start to plan it ahead of time. Like you subconsciously start doing things to prepare for that vacation, especially if it's around the same time of year. Why? Because your brain is expecting you to do that. You've trained your brain that you go on a vacation in June. So now your brain starts to set its own self to prepare and remind you of certain things that you may need for that vacation, because you've trained your brain, even if it's subconsciously. What I want you to start doing is training your brain purposely. So this is why this quote is so important. Your brain is not here to make you happy. It's here to protect you, because some of us actually think that our brain is here to make us happy. And it's not. It's used for you to use to think, but you have to train it the same way the muscles in your body, right? They're muscles, and you can win a gold medal by building your muscles. You can just be strong enough so that you can have your body looking good enough so that you feel like you look good by working out. Whatever your goal is, what your muscles in your body, those muscles are there for you to use how you need to use them, but you have to work them out in order to use them. You have to train your muscles in order for them to be a size that you look good, or a size that you win a gold medal if you're a heavyweight lifter of some sort. If a girl says, hey, look, I don't like the way my butt looks, so I want to start doing exercises. I'm going to start doing glute exercises, so that instead of me going to get work to get a nice butt, I can go to the gym and work my glutes and get a nice butt. So you can look how you want to look. You just got to train those muscles. So I'm using these examples because I know that we all can understand that stuff. I know you've seen videos where you see women that show a picture 7 years ago when they had no shape, no form, no tone, just kind of, just regular. And then 7 years later, they got this really nice figure. And it's because they took the muscles in their body that are already there and trained them for them to look the way they want. Well, you can do the same thing with your brain. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to train your brain that you want to be a millionaire, and then your brain will work on your behalf to assist you in becoming a millionaire. It's really that clear cut. But a lot of times we don't understand how to do that. We don't understand that we can do that. So we talked about already on the mental exercises, expanding your knowledge, taking part in challenging tasks, engaging with stimulating people and places, locating and discussing new ideas. And for those that missed these trainings that I'm recapping, again, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can look at these trainings in full. I'm just recapping, so it's a refresher for you all that are on, because it's like reading a book once. You have to read it a few times. And I like to go over this stuff again, just so when I drop this last part today, you all can say, okay, this all makes sense because it's running together in my mind because you got this refresher in the beginning. So we talked about reading one book a month, right? At least one book a month. If you're not a heavy reader, if you're not a heavy audible listening person, and you're not doing at least one book a month, you're really, really, really doing a lot of damage to your growth. Because as much as I believe in a formal education, I also believe in an informal education. And I also believe in continuous learning. Some of us haven't picked up a book since we graduated from high school. And it shows in your conversation. So you have to continue to read and learn, whether it be audible, whether it be physically picking up a book that you can mark up and dog ear the pages, but you have to at least read one book a month, because that's at least 12 books a year. And it will encourage, and some of you guys, and I'm not gonna go deep into this, I'm not gonna go deep into it at all, but some of you all don't even understand that you're affecting your relationship negatively by not reading. Especially if one of you all are reading and the other one is not, man, I'm telling you, it gets dangerous, because you will really quickly be outgrown or outgrow your partner because you're reading and staying current and hearing new things, and the person that you're married to or dating is not reading anything. They don't have any more knowledge than they get off of a news station or that they got from the last book that they read when they graduated from high school or graduated from college. And if you're I'm 44, I'll be 45 this month. If I'm dating a woman that's in her 40s and she hasn't picked up a book since she was in college, that's not gonna last but about 30 days for me. Because I cannot have conversations with you if you aren't up to date in life. And it's very easy to know when a person's not up to date in life when you're up to date in life, right? So one book a month, but remember, always find books that cover issues that you're having. So when you hear me say your mentor can be audio or visual, and decide which one you're gonna do, because I'm a visual. I'm an audio book person. I don't really read physical books anymore because they make me fall asleep. I 3 minutes in, I'm falling asleep. So I have to listen to like Audible. That's how I listen to mine. And I do a lot of YouTube videos. And let's do a lot of YouTube videos that are concerning topics that I train on, topics that I'm trying to get better on, and topics or in areas that I'm lagging in my own personal life. So I'll read 3 books a month. I actually read a book in a month through the organization I'm in a part of, which is Team New Vision. I read a book a month with a mastermind group that I'm a part of. And then I read another book a month that I personally choose myself that has anything to do with an area that I'm lagging in life or an area that I want to get more versed in life. I read a third book. So I read 3 books a month, which is essentially 36 books a year is what I'm reading. And that's not to mention the audios that I listen to get better. That's not the list of all of those. That's all extra stuff. I mean, I actually go through 3 books a month, plus I listen to other things. And I do that so that I can get sharper and so that I can grow. Because, like I said, if you're not growing, you're dying. That's the way it works. I mean, and I see so many people that they're kind of just waiting to die. You get to a certain age and they retire and they wait to die. And it's like, sitting on a porch with a pitcher of lemonade, accomplishing nothing. Your daily walk cannot be from your house to your front porch and then you sit there in a rocking chair all day long, because you will deteriorate that way. So you have to constantly train your brain. You have to constantly keep your mind moving. And again, the news and television programs, sitcoms and series, they don't do it. You need to do something educational. So find out what's wrong with you and make sure you're reading books for what's wrong with you. And then schedule time to read. And the next slide, I'll be talking a little bit about soul cleansing. We talked about soul cleansing and releasing negative habits, letting go of false beliefs, distancing yourself from inauthentic friends, and making sure that you're not the inauthentic friend. Because sometimes you're that person, right? Move away from anything that doesn't deserve you. And then we had a couple of winners here where Miss Wilma Haynes, I hope you've gotten your book already, but Wilma Haynes won Conquer Fear by Lisa Jimenez. And we also had a winner, Miss Jody. And Jody, I never say your last name, so I'll mess it up. Jody out of Wisconsin won It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Moawad. And that's a book on neutral thinking. And we talked about that as well on week number 2. You know, and we talked about illusion being a choice. So when we talked about this, we pretty much were talking about you can't, whatever you're trying to get in life. So let's just say I'm looking to earn $1 million. There's certain things that I cannot do. And I think sometimes we don't make a list of that. Like we bring people into different network marketing companies and business ventures and franchises and all these different things. And a lot of times coaches do this as well. A coach will sit down with their client and say, hey, what is your why? And we know that people typically say that. What is your why? And that's a great question to ask. But after that, you have to ask a person, what is their why not? Because there's certain things that you can't do. You can't do. You truly cannot do and be successful. That's why I tell people to have a to-do list and a not to-do list, right? And I haven't talked about that much here because that's something that I kind of train like my clients on, things like that. But got to have a not to-do list, right? So let's talk about relationships. Like some of you are married or in a long-term relationships, right? There's things that you have to do in order for that marriage to work. But there's also some things that if you do, right, it will damage or end in divorce. So there's things not to do in a marriage and there's things to do in a marriage. That's every part of your life. So you got to know your why not. You got to have a not to do list. So when we say choice is an illusion, the reason why we say choice is illusion is because people have this misnomer that, oh, I'm rich and I can do whatever I want. Oh, you know, I can drive whatever car I want. I can do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. I can take off as much time as I want. So let's take a smaller bite of that apple where you're self-employed or you're an entrepreneur and your family member calls you and says, hey, can you go pick up my child for me for school? Can you run this errand? Can you run that errand? Can you do this? Can you do that? And you say, well, I really don't have the time to do that right now. Well, I thought you were self-employed. I thought you were an entrepreneur. I thought that was why you have that kind of career so that you will have time to do certain things. Like, I can't take off work to do it. Can you do it for me? Right? See, that's that illusion is a choice, right? I mean, choice is an illusion, right? So what we're saying at that point is, wait, I do have a choice to stop working and pick your child up from school. I do have a choice to stop working and run whatever errand you need me to run. But if I make that decision and I choose that option, I will not continue to be successful. So when we say illusion is a choice, that's not saying that you don't have a choice. It's just saying that if you want to remain in a position of success, if you want to remain to be a good husband or a good wife, if you want to remain to be a good employee at your job, if you want to remain to have clients coming in and out of your studio as a personal fitness trainer, if you want to remain to sell houses as a realtor, there's certain decisions you can't make. So choice is definitely an illusion because you cannot do certain things and remain to be successful or be heading in the area of success. And then we talked about understanding neutral thinking, which is knowing that if you can't necessarily think positive because you haven't built your confidence up yet, you haven't really understood how to use affirmations, how to build through affirmations, then at least don't say negative things, right? You cannot say negative things, and that'll at least put you in a neutral place. And we want you to start by doing that if you cannot totally be positive. Do some neutral thinking And that's what it's about. You cannot go from reverse to forward, or from reverse to drive without passing neutral. You definitely have to pass neutral in order to do that. So we had a couple of homework assignments, and we talked about, you know, how you act it tells me where you're at. So I have a phrase that I use, or a quote I should say, that I use, that I learned from Mike Humes a long time ago, and it was, and for those who don't know who Mike Hughes is, he's a successful network marketer in Legal Shield. But Mike Humes said something to me one day, and he didn't say it to me. I took it as he was saying it to me, but he was actually saying it in a conference that I was in. And he says, wherever you're at in life right now is based on every decision you made before today. So, you know, again, your abusive spouse, your sick child, your mother who wasn't there, your father who disappeared when you was 2 years old. You know, I was molested when I was, 13 years old. Look, I know those things happen. I know at this point, I believe the last count was about 1 out of every 4 women get molested at a young age. Like, I know these things exist, guys. I keep my finger on the pulse on what's going on, not only in this country, but all over all over the world. And I look at statistics and look, I get it. I know those things happen. But what I need you to understand is, like, we're adults, and you cannot let those things prevent you from moving forward in life. That's what therapy is for. So if you've been molested, go to therapy. If you had a single parent household and that's affecting how you think, then go see a therapist. Right? If you was in an abusive relationship 2 or 3 years ago and you got out of it, we went through a divorce, and you ridded yourself, you rid yourself of that person, man or woman, then guess what? Go see a therapist and get better. If you was in the military and you fought in a war, or you were on the front lines in some situation where you got hurt or injured, or saw people get hurt or injured, and you got PTSD, I get it. I know people that's like that. My son's in the Army. I get it. But check this out. Go see a therapist. Because you cannot continue to go through life blaming circumstances and situations for where you're at in life. You've got to take responsibility. And I think that was the first or second training I did maybe 2 months ago, was taking responsibility. You've got to take responsibility for your life, because if you blame where you're at on other people, then you lose control, and you cannot take back that control to go where you want to go until you take responsibility for what's going wrong. So if you were molested or mishandled when you were 13 years old, that wasn't your fault. But if you're not seeking therapy as an adult to get past that part is your fault. If you've got children that you're dealing with incorrectly because of what you've been through, now you're taking them through something, that's your fault, because they have therapists that help you through those things. So it's important to understand soul cleansing. It's important to understand that you have to take back control of your life, because everything you do, every decision you make is going to determine where you're at in life. And if you want better, you got to think better. You got to do better. You got to move differently. That's the way things work. So last week we talked about a 6-hour workday. We talked about day bending, guys, and stacking your days so that you can get more done. And this is a really interesting concept because we want you to really focus on saying, hey, look, I want it to be a sense of urgency in my life. We just ended the month, and I know, because I see the numbers when they go through. People who haven't worked all month, the last 2 days of the month, they're shoving everything in, right? They could have done that on the second day of the month instead of the second last day of the month. But there's no sense of urgency. So what happens with our body and with our mind is when there's no sense of urgency, we kind of relax. So let's look at this where it says, mindset continues to be the focus as it does in all my training material. The sense of urgency vacuum is just a way of training your brain that you have a limited amount of time to accomplish said goals. If your brain feels as if you have a deadline, it will automatically respond with a sense of urgency. So when we're doing day bending, what we're doing is saying, okay, let's take Monday and Tuesday, take both to-do lists, and say, I'm gonna do both of these today. So I'm gonna spend 6 hours doing one, and then spend 6 hours doing the next one. So if you took a 2-hour break in between, that's 14 hours. So within 14 hours, you did 2 days worth of work. Now, are you gonna get it all done? Absolutely not, you're not. But you're gonna get a lot more done than if you had done one day for 1 day, because the sense of urgency is not there. And once your brain says, wait a minute, Tilly's is trying to do all of this in 1 day. Okay, I gotta go into overdrive because we can't do this if we don't, right? If my brain says, hey, Mrs. Stell says, her brain says, look, you can't, you want me to, you normally do this on Monday and this on Tuesday. You've been doing this every week like this for 10 years. Now all of a sudden you're doing Monday and Tuesday on 1 day. Okay, guess what? Your brain may not like that, but it's going to adapt to that. It's going to adapt to that. So you have to understand that you have to train your brain. The same way when you walk in a gym, you can't lift 150 pounds. Some of us can't. You go to lift it and you can't. And your muscles are saying, crazy, you can't lift 150 pounds. You never lift weight before. So then you say, oh, okay. So then what do? You go down to 50 pounds, you lift 50 pounds, and then you make your muscles stronger. And then you start lifting 100, and then you make your muscles stronger. And then you start lifting, you start lifting 150. So you can get to 150, you just got to train your muscles to get to 150. So when your brain says you can't do 2 days in 1 day, no, you can't. But when you start that process, you're going to do a little bit more than you would have done until you get to a point you're going to say, you know what, at this point, it's been a month, it's been 2 months. I'm actually completing 2 days of work in 1 day. You can really do this, guys. It's called day bending. It's called day stacking. And I showed, of course, last week, I showed numbers of how you can really turn your days into a lot more days. And of course, you got to go back and look at that training to see that. And then we talked about course correcting more often. And what I mean by more often is a lot of times we don't course correct until the end of the year. We start seeing the new year come and we say, hey, here comes the new year. Let me start looking at some things I need to change. The real superstars do that every month. The billionaires, they do it every week. The billionaires, they do it every day. They course correct every day. So you have to get in the habit to say, I'm going to course correct. I'm going to course correct. I'm going to course. You have to set your mind to go, the plan, do, review, and go over things. So how often are you doing a plan, do, review, and then emphasis on review? So I gave some examples of how, if you're looking to make $100,000, how you can earn that amount of money based on weeks and days, and how you will course correct in that circumstance to make sure that you understood. So what I want to do now is, I believe that you can people can unmute themselves on here, and I only want one volunteer because for the sake of time, I don't want to have a whole bunch of people do this. So who on the line has started this course correcting? And what I mean by started it, meaning that you started looking at your numbers or something else. It may not be your numbers. It may be something else. Whatever you're course correcting, it doesn't have to be your numbers. I use this for an example. But have you started looking at something and course correcting it so that you can get better at adjusting whether it increases or decreases? And what I mean by decreases is it could be your weight. It could be your weight. So I course correct my commission statement so that it goes up. But I course correct my macros and my calories and my carbs and my proteins so that my weight can go down. So you can use this for up or down. So if anybody on the line here right now has started that process, if you can go ahead and speak up, so let's tell us what you're doing so we can see if it's helping anybody. And I believe you have to unmute yourself if that's set up that way. I believe Ms. Felton did set it up that way. Oh, let me check something too. Hold on.
Yes, everyone should be able to unmute themselves. If you can't unmute yourself and you want to speak, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you personally.
There you go. So if you raise your hand, you get unmuted, and you can also put in the chat that you're trying to speak if for some reason you haven't figured out how to do it. If I don't see nothing in 5 seconds, that tell me nobody did the homework. That's what that's gonna mean.
Hey, Mr. Dunbar.
Hey, who's that?
I want to know who's tracking? What was the question?
Like, has anybody started like on the homework we talked about last week, meaning that is anybody course correcting their tracking? So giving you an example, we talked about you may know what your numbers are, meaning I need to make $4,166 or $8,333 or whatever your course correct. I mean, whatever you're calculating. The question is, are you going and checking it regularly to make sure that if it goes off course, you can correct that course? So I want to see if anybody's doing that.
Oh yeah, I'm tracking.
Okay, and who is that? I can't tell who you are.
Sharanda.
That's my bestie. Hey, bestie. You don't sound like
Hey.
bestie right now for some reason, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm tracking. You taught me that, and I actually put it in my calendar every day. So my goal, I have to make $248 a day to be on track for my 50K ring this year. And so I track that every day. And at the end of the week, I have to make I was looking for my calendar. I have to make 1,000 and something a week. And so I know the next week, the difference in what I have to make if I came up short.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So yeah, I'm tracking.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, if you don't mind me asking you, what's the difference to you in looking at your numbers so that you can catch when they're off and fix it versus just monthly looking at your total for the month and saying, okay, I missed this month?
No, on a day-to-day basis, I have in my mind, whereas I used to just go about just thinking about what I needed for the whole month. I mean, I just didn't really think about the day-to-day. I really didn't focus on the week-to-week. It's just at the end of the month, I'll think, oh, okay, I came up short. But knowing what I need to do every day gets me in the mindset that I have to do a certain amount of activity to get that dollar amount that day. And so I'm more focused on making sure that money comes into my organization, whether it's by me or my team, now. So I'm focused on it. Whereas some days I used to prospect all day and no income was making. I wasn't making any income dropping into my account, or that day I was just focused on saying, okay, I'm doing an activity, but I'm more conscious now about it, whereas I want to see the money moving on a day-to-day basis. It's just easier for me now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so much easier because what happens is that you catch it when it's a smaller number, and it allows you at the end of the day, if you say, you know what, I'm off by $39 or I'm off by $40 or $50, you can put something on your to-do list to do the next day to make up that money. If you, at the end of the month you realize you were $2,000 behind, well, what are you putting on your to-do list for next month to make up a $2,000 when you already got to make another $4,166 that month anyway? It knocks you out the game sometimes, and that's why it's so important to course correct. So thank you for that, for letting us know that, and I hope you guys will took some notes on that. I mean, it's a small tweak that'll really change the game, just course correcting more. So I hope you guys were able to understand that. Thank you, Ms. Sharanda. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And these were just some more examples, guys, that we gave of, and again, you can see all of these examples on the other training. Keep tracking your numbers. You cannot increase what you do not track, and that's what we talked about, and that's what Sharanda just talked about. You cannot decrease what you do not track, all the same. So let's go into past, present, and future, right? Past, present, and future. So learning from your past. Your past was never a mistake if you learned from it. Really important to understand. I want you guys to really get this, right? So living is a process of developing oneself without experiencing pain from the disconcerting periods of our lives. We will be a different person, perhaps a lesser person. So let's look at how to understand learning from our past. So you got past, you got present, you got future. And a lot of times we will allow our past to prevent us from growing because it's been bad, or sometimes our past has been good, and instead of moving forward, we're always dwelling on what we did positively before, and that's all we want to talk about. And that's always, John C. Maxwell taught me that a long time ago. John C. Maxwell taught me that when you're having conversations with people and all they're talking about is what they did before, what they did last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, get away from them, because that means they're not growing. If you're a speaker, if you're a person that writes books, if you're a person that does any kind of podcast or vlogs or any kind of thing like that, if you can go back to a vlog or a speaking engagement or a book you wrote 6 months ago, a year ago, and not feel like, man, this wasn't that good, then you're not growing. You're not growing, because I could look at a video I did last week and be like, man, I can't believe I said that. Why? Because I'm constantly looking and growing and looking to increase, my value, I should say, in the information that I give to other people. Because everything I get, I give away. Like I don't hold anything back. When I'm training, I'm giving you everything I have. So here's just 5 lessons on learning from your past. So number 1, you won't always do well. So understand that. It says mistakes are meant to allow you to see you are an imperfect being. Creates humbleness and your ability to be empathetic when someone in your circle deals with the same challenge. So let's say you've got a teammate. Let's say you're leading a department in a company that you work for. You've got 6, 7, maybe you got 60, right? People that are your supervisor. Maybe you're in a network marketing company and you're saying, I've got a team of people that I'm working with. How do you help those people through challenges that they deal with in that department or in their life if you haven't been through anything yourself? How do you help people through failures if you haven't failed? Mothers on the line, fathers on the line. How do you guide your children through situations that they deal with when they're a child, when they're a teenager, when they're going to college? Like, how do you guide them if you haven't been through anything? Could you imagine if you had done everything right and hadn't made any mistakes? You would think that in the back of your mind, in the front of your mind, without really putting any thought into it, I will be a great parent because I never made any mistakes. But essentially you wouldn't be, because if your child wasn't as good as you were and they made mistakes, you wouldn't even be able to tell them how to deal with them. So what you have to understand is that, 1, we're human. So we're not going to always be perfect about things. Like, even if you're a perfectionist, you're not going to be. And it really does create that humbleness. So when you feel like you can't do anything wrong, it puts you in a bad situation. So give you guys an example of, Mike Tyson, famous boxer, most of you all know him. Then you got Ronda Rousey, who was somebody that I followed for years, which is a white female UFC fighter. She was undefeated for years. She's taking these women out, and if a fight went over 3 minutes, they were surprised. She had a takedown bar that either she fractured your arm or she broke your arm, or you tapped out quick enough for nothing to happen, but you tapped out. Like, she just was nothing to be played with. And Mike Tyson and Ronda Rousey, both of them, they had gotten to a point in their careers where nobody was beating them. They were undefeated for so long that they started saying things like, I'm the best. I can't be defeated. Like, nobody can beat me. Like, I don't know why y'all keep putting people against me. Like I'm the best fighter. Like, there's nobody that's gonna come against me that's gonna win. And I followed both of their careers, Mike Tyson and Ronda Rousey. And what you'll find is their careers is, once they lost, they kept losing. They kept losing. And they kept losing. And even with Ronda Rousey, if you look at her story, she actually, when she lost her first fight, she actually attempted to commit suicide. Right? And it was because she didn't know how to be humble. She didn't know how to lose. And some people, right? Some people know how to win, but they don't know how to lose. And knowing how to lose is what really makes you a true leader. That's what makes you a true entrepreneur. You have to know how to lose. Because if you don't know how to lose, man, when it happens, it'll disrupt everything. When Ronda Rousey lost that fight, after being undefeated for years. I think she had 2 or 3 belts at one time. She lost that fight, and I don't think she won a fight after that. She lost 2 or 3 fights after that, and then now she's not even a fighter. She left the entire fighting business because she knew how to win like a champ, but she didn't know how to lose like one. And what you got to understand is when a loss comes, you got to celebrate bad situations happening to you because it's making you a better person. It's making you a better leader, a better entrepreneur, a better mother, a better father, a better spouse. You have to embrace the situations when they happen because there's some positive in there. And when you see somebody that's really humble at the top of their game and they're really humble, it's because they've gotten so many life lessons and so many scars. Guess what? They know that they can be hurt because they've been hurt so many times before. Sometimes you see somebody married to somebody, you like, man, they got a really good husband. They got a really good wife. Well, how you find them? Well, wait till you hear that person's story. They've been beat on, they've been cheated on, they've been everything under the sun, and they done everything under the sun. And now they are a great person to marry because they've been through so much that they humble, they patient, they everything. So you got to understand, you will not always do well. But when you don't do well, take it as a learning lesson and use it to build yourself, right? The second one, every time you lose, it's not a real loss. Sometimes we think we lost and it's not a real loss. So some losses are someone or something being pushed out of our life for reasons that we don't understand. So fitness trainer story. So I had a client of mine that's a fitness trainer, and he had a client that was paying him. I'm not gonna go say the amount of money, but it was over and above what he normally charged for a client. And it was a woman client that was paying him. And she was showing up faithfully, and she was paying them monthly. When the automatic draft was there every time, and he was like, "Man, this client is like she's really helping me because she's paying me more than what you know what I mean." Because she wasn't a famous person, but she had name recognition, and he was getting other clients because she was one of his clients, and he was really enjoying the fruits of that. And then she came on to him, and he's married, and he had to make a decision to tell her like, yo, like you can't do this with me because like I'm married, like I love my wife, like that's out of the question. And she left. She stopped training with him. And he called me one day and he says, look, I gotta talk to you about something. He told me, he said, look, what do you think I should have did? I said, I think you should have did exactly what you did. I think you should let her know that. You should stay in your ground. Like, your wife is, if you lose your entire business and keep your wife, then you won. I mean, assuming she's a good wife. I mean, obviously, right? So I'm like, that's not even negotiable. Like, there is no opinion-based answer on that. The right thing to do is what you did. And he was like, man, I was getting so many clients because she, and I said, look, her being pushed out of your life is for a reason. Obviously, she was coming on to you, so that was you didn't need her in your life anymore as far as a client. But you got a lot of clients from her being your client. So figure out what's positive about that. Because are you going to get more clients from those clients now? Because you got those clients, right? What did you put up the extra money that you made from this client that was paying you above and beyond what you normally charge? Because sometimes people are in your life for a season. And when that season is over, sometimes we cry and we whine and be like, I can't believe that this happened and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's not, that's not always what it's about. People are in your life for a season. Sometimes it's a relationship. Sometimes it's a business partnership. I mean, again, I'm in network marketing and I've got 2 ringers on my team. Well, guess what? Neither one of them are working right now. One of them is still actively in the business. The other one's not even in the business no more. And you never hear me talk about that, not because it's some negative situation I don't want to bring to light. It's because my thought pattern is people are in your life for a season. And their season in this business as a part of my team is gone and they're on to something else. And I'll get more ring earners. My business will continue to grow. Like it doesn't change any of that. I don't know why they're not in my business anymore or why they're not in this business anymore. But what I do know is that people are in your life for a season. And even though I may have lost those people, I didn't take a loss. So you have to understand that sometimes when we feel like we lose, man, we're not really losing. We may have lost something, but we didn't take a loss, right? So don't always say that. So when you hear somebody say, right? You hear somebody say, yeah, I just went through a divorce, and you say, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't say that. Because sometimes they're like, no. I'm glad I got rid of that joker. Don't be sorry to hear that at all. What I had to go through going through them courts was nothing compared to what I went through for the last 15 years with this clown. So believe me when I tell you guys, every time it looks like it's a loss, it's not a loss. So just keep that in mind. So number 3, authentic confidence builder. So, you build a lot of confidence when you lose. So when the doors get slammed in your face, you no longer fear that. When you pick up the phone and make dials and hear everything but yes, no matter how heavy the phone is, you no longer fear that. So fear is not something that you're supposed to be trying to get around. Fear is, let me back up. I meant that statement, but let me back up. Courage is your ability to be fearful of something and do it anyway. So some people think that courageous people aren't scared. You're not courageous if you're not scared in the first place. You can't tell me that I've got courage if I go skydiving if I'm not scared of heights. Because I didn't accomplish, I didn't defeat anything. I didn't stretch myself by doing something that I was okay doing in the first place. It's like when I talk about sacrifice, I talk to people all the time, mostly my clients, about sacrifice. People say, well, I made a sacrifice. And I say, well, what was the sacrifice you made? And they say, well, I gave my sister needed $5,000 because she had this issue going on. I gave her $5,000. And I say, well, how much money you got in the bank? $130,000. I said, that wasn't no sacrifice. You had $130,000 in the bank and you gave your sister $5,000. You think you made a sacrifice? That wasn't a sacrifice. A sacrifice is if you got $7,000 in the bank and your rent due and all your other bills due and your bills are $5,000 and you got $7,000 and you give $5 away. That's a sacrifice. So understand that when you walk through doors that you're scared to walk through, it builds confidence. So you want to encourage things to happen. And I watch it with clients. I watch it with coaching calls that I do where I see somebody that 6 months ago, they were scared to call somebody. They were scared to walk into a place. And then now, currently, they're not because they've done it so much and done it the wrong way and the right way that they're now not fearful of that very act. That's why I love, like you heard just a minute ago, a testimony done by Sharanda Ivy. She talks about all the time, just do it. And it's like, you can't sum it up any easier than that. Like Nike killed the game with that. Just do it. Because that's what, it's 3 words, just do it. If you do it, it takes away the fear. So learning from your past situations, it's like, when I tell you it's a confidence builder to go through things, to be able to look back and say, okay, I've been through this, so I'm no longer scared. I'm no longer scared. Like people that are fighting, that are black belts and they're fighting in competitions, guess what, guys? They're not scared of getting hit. Boxers aren't scared of getting hit. So you get somebody get in the ring and they don't know how to fight, what are they doing? They're ducking every punch because they don't want to be hit. A trained boxer knows how to exchange. And they're saying, I'm gonna take this straight punch and I'm gonna get him with a hook. So you're trained to take the punch so that you can land a bigger punch to get more points. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that you have to build confidence, but bad things have to happen. Negative things have to happen. Things that you would consider to be hurtful, damaging have to happen. So you can learn from your past because some things have happened to you that you can look back at, what you're going to see on 4 and 5 here, replaying it and reflecting on it, right? So let's look at 4, replay through journaling. So it's important to understand that you should have a journal. Whether you're a business owner or not, if you got a 9 to 5, if you're a business owner, if you're self-employed, an entrepreneur, whatever you call yourself, you should be journaling so that you can reflect on your life and so that you can see the mistakes you made and walk back through it like a book. Because when you're journaling, you're really writing your own book. You're writing a book on your life. So replay it. Close your eyes and walk through the situation again via your journal, but with the current knowledge that you have concerning the subject. So if you got something going on and you're saying, okay, so a situation is that's come up before, whether maybe it's a relationship situation, maybe it's a business situation, maybe it's a bad business partner and you had a bad business partner before. But a challenge comes up in your space. What you should do, because you should have journaled that, is go to your journal, find where it's at in your journal, whatever you do to meditate, sit with your legs crossed, lay down on the bed, whatever you do to get in your space where you feel like you can think properly, you can meditate. And read through where you journaled about that situation and walk back through that again. But walk through it now with the knowledge that you have now, because see, now you're past that situation. When you were writing about it, you were having the issue, it hadn't been dealt with yet. So you're writing that this is going on in my life, in my business, and you haven't dealt with the challenge yet. But it's a challenge that you're looking to deal with. And now you're laying down and you're saying, okay, let me read through when I wrote this, but now put the current knowledge in my head of what I know, because I've gotten past this 2 years ago. Because now it's resurfacing and I need to be able to get through it correctly. You got to replay it. And that's why journaling is important to make sure that you can do that. So you should have a journal for your business. You should have a journal for your life. Because what better way to get through situations is through your own experience. Right? You're your best teacher. You'll see that in the next few slides, right? So reflect on it. Your life is like a book, hence the need for you to journal. So your life is like a book that you've read before, but you need to pick it back up because you are dealing with similar circumstances again. This is why journaling is important. Replay it and then reflect on it. And again, guys, this doesn't have to be business. It can be personal. But you should definitely, without a doubt, be doing those things. So the present, right? Where we at right now. The past is the lesson, the present is your gift, and the future is your motivation. So gratitude for the present. Gratitude for the present. So do you have a success board? Not a vision board, but a success board. What's the difference? The vision board is, these are the things that I'm looking to accomplish. These are the goals that I'm looking to meet in the future. This is the vehicle I want to drive. This is the car, the home I want to live in. I've got 2 kids, I want 2 more kids. This is how I want my children to look. I want a boy and a girl, whatever the case may be. Whatever your vision is for your future, right? I want a pool in the back of my house. Whatever you got going on, it's your vision board. Well, you should also have a success board. And your success board should be a board that you have that as you accomplish those goals, you put those on your success board. So now you realize when you go in your garage, you know what? I'm driving a 2020 BMW, and I said in 2017, I was gonna get a BMW. Well, guess what you do? You take that BMW off your board and you put it on your success board. And why do you put it on your success board? Because now what you're doing is showing gratitude for the fact that you actually have the things that you put on your vision board. And you want to do those things because it creates a spirit of gratitude, and you know where you're at. There's nothing worse than me seeing a person that isn't taking care of what they have and saying that they want something better. You treating your wife like dirt, but you want a better wife. You're talking about how bad of a wife she is and how you want a better. Well, guess what? You should be treating the wife you have good so that you can end up with somebody better if this is not who you want to be with. If you've got a vehicle that's you're using to get around right now because you can't afford the vehicle you want, well, you should still be cleaning that vehicle. You should still be maintaining that vehicle, because what's going to happen when you get the new vehicle? You're not gonna all of a sudden going to turn into a person that maintains vehicles now. You got to practice this stuff beforehand, right? You don't start acting like a wife or a husband when you get married. You start acting like a wife or a husband before you get married so that somebody chooses to marry you. You can't start practicing that once it starts. You're supposed to be practicing that beforehand. That's what makes somebody say, you know what? She looked like she would be a good wife. He looks like he'll be a good husband, right? You look like you'll be a good business partner. You can't say as a business owner, oh yeah, I'm gonna tighten up as soon as I get some clients. Well, guess what? You're not gonna get no clients because they're looking at you not tightened up before. That's why they're not choosing to work with you. So when somebody asks me about, man, you put a lot of time and energy into your videos and you do this and you drop it, and I said, well, because I want high-end clients. And in order for me to get high-end clients, I have to present myself that I can help a high-end client. Does that make sense? So you got to conduct yourself in a way that you want your future to look like, but you have to do that now. So do you spend time thanking your higher power, whatever that is, right? Whether you believe in the moon and the stars, whether you believe in Jesus Christ, whether you, I mean, it doesn't matter, Muhammad, whatever you believe in, do you spend time thanking your higher power for where you're at, even if you're not 100% okay with where you're at? Because I promise you, I can show you some people that's not doing as good as you are. I can show you some. So, comedian Mike Epps, I'm gonna use the clean example of Mike Epps, right? That's my guy, but he ain't always clean, right? And so, Mike Epps told a story on one of his stand-up comedy shows. Let's check the time. One of his stand-up comedy shows, and he says, you know, y'all got to start thanking God for, you know, what you guys have. He said, y'all do all this whining. He said, one day God going to come down here on earth and God is going to say, you know what? You right. You know what? You do got some screwed up stuff going on in your life. So this is what I'm going to do. Everybody take all your problems and throw them in the corner over there and just go on about your business. No more problems. Just take all your problems off, throw them in the corner and go on about your business. You got no more problems in your life. And he said, everybody does that. He said, but then about 6 months later, God comes back down and says, hey, look, come on. Y'all got to come get your stuff back. Come get your problems back. Everybody come get their problem. He said, now you're going to get your problem and you realize somebody took your problem and left you with something that you don't want. So when you go to pick up the problem, you say, hey, my problem is gone. And God said, well, you got to take what's left. And now you got something worse than what you had. And sometimes we need that example to know that, yeah, you may not be living where you want to live, but some people don't have a place to live. You may not like driving the vehicle that you drive, but some people don't, some people catching the bus. You might don't like catching the bus, somebody in a wheelchair. So thank your higher power for where you're at, because that's your present, that's your gift, where you're at right now today. Next question, are you day bending? Are you day bending? Because that's right now, right? We're talking about the present. Because if you want to be somewhere else in life and you're saying, well, I can't, it's only 24 hours in a day. If that's been your excuse, I just showed you how to day bend. You can make 2 days out of one, so now you got 48 hours. And guess what? You can do whatever you want at the time. So if you're saying, well, I want to day bend, but I don't want to do all that extra work. I don't want to have 2 days of work. Okay, well, then don't make it 2 days of work. If you say Monday I'm working my butt off and then Tuesday I hang out with my son or my daughter, then do that. Guess what? 6 hours working, 6 hours with your son and your daughter. The next day, 6 hours working, 6 hours with your son and your daughter. I don't care what you do with the extra time. I'm just showing you how to psychologically create more time for yourself. That's what I want to do with day bending, right? Do you have a to-do list or something similar? Because it builds confidence. So if you don't have a to-do list, if you don't have a checklist, I'll tell you right now that you need to get one and you need to check things off as you do them. It's nothing worse than going to bed at night, right? And please jump in that chat. I forgot to have y'all really participate in this chat, but jump in that chat. Like how many times do you lay down at night and you swear you did a whole bunch of stuff, but you can't think of nothing you did? You saying to yourself, now I know I've been busy all day long, and you feeling like a sad sucker going to bed. And you like, I don't feel like I did nothing. I'm talking about you feeling bad, and you saying to yourself like, I don't even feel like, you don't even want to go to bed because you think you ain't done enough. And you actually have done things. So if that's happened to you, if you're on this Zoom right now and it's been nights that you've gone to bed and felt like you didn't accomplish things, but you know you did, go ahead and put it in the chat. Just say yes. You don't have to tell me what it is. I don't want to know your business. You know, but just put yes in there. And why am I saying this to you? Because if you have a to-do list, I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel so much better when you're checking those things off and you look at your list. So, like, while I'm talking to you all here, so let me pull it because I got a lot of stuff on. I got a list with different stuff. So, show y'all the right list. So, I got my checklist here on my sheet. I know you can't see it, but I got little square empty boxes next to it. And I just mark the box as I do them. And then I'm course correcting all day. And I'm looking at my sheet. Whenever I zone off, because I zone off, I'm shiny squirrel, guys, all day long. Something move, I look. My phone go off, I look. I'm somewhere else. I'm supposed to be going to Facebook to do something, and I'm somewhere else. I ain't even on the page I'm supposed to be on sometimes. I'm like, what is going on? I'm in Messenger. I'm looking at all kinds of stuff I got no business looking at. So I'm like, look, I have to stay on task, so I keep my to-do list here. So when I realize that, boom, I'm off target, I grab my to-do list. So let me tell you something else that I do. No, I'll tell you that later when I talk about the devices. I ain't gonna tell you that yet. But the to-do list, I check it off. I check it off. I check it off. Now before I lay down, when I'm setting up my to-do list for tomorrow, now if I didn't do 3 items, I put them on my to-do list for tomorrow. That's how I'm starting my tomorrow's do list. And I'm gonna show you how to do that on your smartphone as well. If you need to go use your smartphone because you're saying I don't like to do paper and all that kind of stuff. So good stuff. So I just want you guys to focus on that. Is your language in support of gratitude as it comes to your current position in life? What's your language like? Are you complaining about where you're at right now? Or are you excited about where you at? Like I'm 44 years old. I'll be 45 on the 13th of June. I'm living my best life. Like I have to talk that way, right? I told myself, right, you gotta set goals. So I told myself when I was 39 turning 40, I set a goal. I said, okay, when I get 40 years old, no more games, no more playing, no more messing around with women, no more immature stuff, nothing else. Like when you get 40 years old, you gotta have your stuff together. So you can't be fooling around when you get 40 years old. When you're 40 years old, it's like until you get to 40, you get a pass. When you get 40 years old, you can't be playing. You can't be driving around with a suspended license and having 2 and 3 girlfriends. Like too old for that. So at 40 years old, I said, I'm getting everything. I'm gonna make sure I got everything together. So I told myself when I turned 40 years old, I'm gonna make sure when I get 45 years old, I look better than I did at 35 years old. I set that as a goal for myself. And at 45 years old, in I guess 10 days or whenever it's gonna be, I in my opinion, some of y'all didn't know when I was 34, so I can ask you your opinion. But I know in my opinion, I know how I look at 35 years old because I got pictures. So I look better at 45 years old than I did at 35 years old. Why? Because I set my mind to do it. But I'm always carrying the language of gratitude of where I'm at. So even though I'm always reaching for another place to be in, I'm always still happy where I'm at. So I'm running for a 150K ring, but I'm excited about my 100K ring, right? I'm building a training company, but I'm excited about Legal Shield still, right? That's where I'm at. Like so you have to be excited about where you're at, as well as have strong goals for the future for whatever they may be. Because if you don't show that appreciation for yourself in the present, you'll end up in a bad place. Now, and I don't want you guys to do that. So preparing for vision. Preparing your future for vision. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave this up here for a minute, then I'm gonna drop this and I'm gonna kind of do face to face. So how are you setting up your vision? Are you truly setting up a vision board? Right? If you got a vision board, right, go ahead and, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and take, what is it, 10, 12? Yeah. If anybody on the line, you can either raise your hand or unmute yourself, whatever you need to do. If anybody on this line, since we did the vision board training about a month and a half ago, started a vision board or created a vision board, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us what that's been doing for you since you created that vision board, since you heard that information on this call.
Robert, this is Bill from Kissimmee. I've been following you about 6 weeks, and the vision board was one of the things that really stuck out in my mind. I have my dream car on my wallpaper on my phone. I've been not really doing it on purpose, just kind of subconsciously positioning myself. It's really amazing how things are falling into place. So I appreciate your trainings.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm glad it's working for you. And that's what I want people to understand. Like, give it a try. Like, you give a lot of things a try in your life. Give it a try. I promise you guys, the stuff that we talk about on these trainings, I'm strategically putting these trainings together I spent a lot of, when I tell you I spent a lot of time, I know y'all only seeing like 20 slides and y'all like, oh, you put these 20 slides together. No, it's a lot of work. And it's not the slides that's the work. It's the information that's the work. But I'm telling you guys, this stuff works. If you want to get to a different place in life, if you go through these trainings and listen to the information, you will end up in a different place. Just like, and it's something important that he said, subconsciously you will. And that's the good thing, like subconsciously. Like when I changed my health, I subconsciously do things differently. Like I don't drink nothing but water. I won't touch nothing else and I won't touch nothing else. Like, I don't care how many times you offer it to me. I'm not drinking Gatorade, apple juice, orange juice, nothing but water. I don't want your flavored water. Don't give me no cucumber water. Don't give me no carrot water. Don't give me no nothing water. I just want regular filtered water or bottled water. It's automatic for me, right? Eating healthy is automatic for me. It's automatic. So when I get an urge to eat, I'm not grabbing a snack. I'm not grabbing nothing sweet. Like I'm grabbing something healthy because it's automatic for me, because I trained my brain that this is what I want and this is what benefits me. And now my brain is like, okay, this is what this guy wants. This is what I'm gonna get this guy. And your brain will do the exact same thing for you, but you just have to spend some time programming yourself on a regular basis. No different than anybody else. I mean, you see somebody in the gym that's all muscled up. I mean, they didn't wake up that way. I mean, they just didn't. They didn't wake up that way. They literally had to go through things. They had to tell themselves that this is what they want to do. It was a time in my life where I had to make myself go to the gym. Like I had to make myself, I mean, it was a struggle. It was like, man, I don't want to go, but I'm gonna go. I don't want to go, I'm gonna go. Now, let me tell you something. If I don't go to the gym, if I miss the gym for like 2 days, you don't want to be nowhere around me. I promise you don't want to be nowhere around me. You don't even want to talk to me on the phone. So if I ever call you, or you call me and I'm in a bad mood, just be like, yo, you must ain't go to the gym. Because I promise you that's what it is. Like my body wants to be at the gym. Even if I don't do nothing but hit that treadmill for 2 hours. It doesn't matter what it is. I see you, Maxine, with that vision board. Yes, ma'am. I'm telling you, even if I just get on a treadmill for 2 hours, I have to go to the gym. There's no question about it. I have to go to the gym because my body is now conditioned to where it wants the gym. Where before, I didn't want to go to the gym. That's how it was. And Miss Maxine, if you're still there, if you go ahead and speak on that vision board if you want to real quick.
Oh, I didn't want to speak on it, but I just was showing it. Yeah, I'm actually still working on it still. It has lots of things that I'm working towards. I just finished drinking some cucumber, ginger, and lemon water. So it's very good for you. You should try it. It's good with my alkaline water. Yes. So on my vision board, it just shows me the healthy lifestyle I'm looking to acquire. My fashion sense that I like, the home that I want. I love my football. So it's kind of like a real big vision board here. So I'm still working on it. And it was good to just get back into doing it. So I appreciate you for having that training. And it's been great.
Excellent. No, I appreciate you. I don't know. I got to talk to myself about your cucumber, ginger, celery, alkaline water you got drinking over there. I got you. So yeah, guys, you gotta prepare.
Mr. Dunbar, really quick. I do have a vision board, but one of the things that I changed on after your training was I actually put it in my bedroom. So when I wake up, it's the first thing I see and the last thing I see at night with that. And I have a bunch of stuff on there, healthy lifestyle, which I'm doing, drinking my water, 100 ounces a day. But most importantly, I went on a dream vacation with my kids a year ago to Hawaii, and I actually want to do that again, but this time I'm paying for it. So I have all the pictures from that on there as well. So, yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. No, that's great. And those are great goals. And I'm telling you, you just said about the water, we ain't gonna turn this into no health Zoom, but I promise you, 100 ounces of water, that's 28 ounces away from a gallon. Like, she's going to see a change in her skin. She's going to see a change in a weight. It's going to be weight loss. You wake up feeling better. You go to bed feeling better. I drink a lot of water. I drink about 10 bottles of water a day, and they're 20-ounce bottles. And I do that because and it's also because I work out. So I sweat more, obviously, because I work out. So I have to replace that too. But I'm just letting you guys know, man, it's that like your health. And I am going to be doing a health Zoom, by the way, just so you guys know, because it's part of being successful. Being a successful entrepreneur and dropping dead at 57, that don't work. So you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself and being healthy, and make sure that you're doing things you need to be doing, so that you can definitely move forward. So, guys, like preparing for your future, you need to have that vision board. You need to have that success board. You need to have things set for yourself. Your calendar needs to be set for yourself. And I did a video at the end of last year, and I'm gonna do another one at the end of this year. Don't wait until the first of the year to set your goals. Do not fall into this whole New Year's resolution thing. Like, guys, create your own vision. You guys got to take control of your life. Don't do what the world is doing. I so mean that. Like, do not fall into that trap of the first of the year, I'm going to make all these changes. The first of the year for you could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. The calendar was set up by man. Like, you know what I mean? A day is all this stuff is set up by man, guys. This is all man that set this stuff up. You can tell me all day long what it's about, what it's saying in the Bible. God don't say nothing about what the day was in the Bible. We said that. He said how long it took him to do stuff. We don't know how long that actually was. So what I'm telling you is we set those parameters, guys. Don't tell yourself on December 31st that the first of the year is when you should start making plans. Start making plans today. You can make a weight loss change tomorrow. You can make a business partner change tomorrow. You can start a business tomorrow. You can do all those things tomorrow, guys. Becoming an entrepreneur is not an annual thing that you do. This is something that you can concentrate on doing like really full speed ahead. So let's jump into, let me drop the screen real quick here. All right, so we're gonna jump into on these devices. And not really devices, but making sure that you guys got smartphones, y'all got tablets, you guys have all these different devices that you're using, and some of you all are letting them outsmart you. So the first thing I want to tell you is I want you to do as a homework assignment. I want you to focus on is do me a favor, unless you have to look at your phone within the first 30 minutes of waking up, because some of you all have careers where you have to look at your phone. And I get it. If you got something that you have to look at your phone for in the morning, then go ahead and do it, because I understand you have to do it. I'm not telling you to do something that jeopardize your job or your business or whatever you got going on. If you can, for the first 30 minutes, when you wake up, do not check your phone. Do not check your phone. If you're going to attempt that, please go to the chat and just say, hey, I'm, put your hand up or say me or yes or whatever, respond some kind of way. Don't check your phone 30 minutes after you get up, and don't check your phone 30 minutes before you go to sleep. And I'm telling you to do this because you guys are letting y'all devices control y'all. I'm looking at these statistics, guys. We are looking at our cell phones 400 times a day. 400 times a day we're looking at our cell phone screen. And the majority of the time that we're looking at our cell phone screen is subconsciously. We just grabbing our phone and looking, and we looking through apps to see if something. We didn't even get a notification. Why you have notifications on your phone if you're gonna look for something without the notification happening? So you looking to see if something new on Facebook, but you didn't get a notification for Facebook. You subconsciously grabbing your phone and just looking at it. You're not using your smartphone. Your smartphone is using you. So if you can't stop yourself from looking at your cell phone all day, guess what you should do? Take something from your vision board that's really important. Your vehicle, the home you're going to move into, your children, put them in a different college. Something that's important, and take a picture of it with your phone and make that your cell phone screen. So at least whenever you grab your phone and look at it, you're looking at something that you got set up for your future. Make this your phone, your vision board, so that you can say every time you grab it, you see that vehicle or you see that home, right? Whatever it may be that you're looking to do. You have to do that. Use those alarms on your phone to course correct. Use those alarms on your phone to, like I remember I said I'm shiny squirrel, guys. That's another reason why I like to fly. I can't get nothing done when I'm flying. I'm in the airport. Every time they say something on loudspeaker, I stop working. Every time somebody walk by me, I'm a people watcher, guys. I don't care what the person look like. You walk by me, I look. That's just me. So whenever something's going on, like the best thing for me working from home is that I have no distractions. I'm at home. So nothing's walking by. You know, I live on the 3rd floor. So nobody's walking by my window. No, none of that stuff is going on, right? So I can do well in that space because I don't have the distractions. But I still have an alarm on my phone. Believe it or not, my phone is set to go off every hour to make sure that I'm not in a space that I shouldn't be in. Every hour my phone goes off, and when my alarm goes off, you know what? I know why my alarm goes off? To make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on my to-do list. So if I happen to be scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through LinkedIn or scrolling through Instagram, or I'm daydreaming, or I got something on my tablet that I'm looking at that's preventing me from completing my work, guess what happens? When that alarm goes off, that reminds me to, hey, I know that that's my focus alarm. And it goes off every hour, guys, except for when I'm asleep. Like my cell phone is set. At 10:45, my phone goes into ignore, and it doesn't come off of ignore until 5:45 in the morning. So nobody can call me, nobody can text me, nobody can nothing at that time. When I lay down, my alarms don't go off. But other than that, my alarms are going off because I have to discipline myself from the distraction. That's so funny because I see that down in the chat. That's good stuff, Miss Felton. Like you have to distract yourself. You have to discipline yourself from your distractions. And you have to distract yourself, right, from your distractions. Because they will get in the way. And I'm telling you over.
Thank you all so much for your patience.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
Something happened with my internet. I had to use my hotspot. I'm not sure what happened there, but oh, wait a minute. We got a couple of people in the waiting room too. Sorry about that. If you can, Mrs. Felton, if you could disable the waiting room. I meant to do that and I forgot. Oh, wait a minute. No, man. Hold on. I just did it. Okay. All right, so we should be good. Get my chat pulled back up here real quick. All right, thank you guys for your patience. Where was I at? Oh, some of the distractions. So just on your devices, use those devices to make sure that you're really taking advantage of using them in a correct way. So 30 minutes when you go to bed, don't use it. 30 minutes when you wake up, don't use it. Use your device's features to benefit from. So the alarm, like I said, every hour for me works great. Works great every hour for me. If you guys can hear me good, go ahead and put in the chat that you can hear me so I can make sure you guys can hear me good. Also, if you go to, it depends on what kind of phone you have. I know with Google, you got Google Docs. With Apple, you have Apple Notes, right? So use that as a way. So I told you to-do list, the same thing. I can go to Apple and go to my notes section, and I can literally put to-do stuff there, and you put the little bubble there that I can use to check stuff. So I definitely use my phone. I try to use my phone to benefit myself so that it's not really taking advantage of me, if that makes sense. So I use all the features that I can. And I'll do something like a training on the features so you guys will know. And I'm probably gonna have Herman Davis help with that stuff because he can help with both kinds of phones. I have an app. I never had an Android, so I can't tell you what stuff is that on the Android, but I know he knows both. So I will have him jump on schedule a call with Herman Davis so that he can show you guys how to use your technology to benefit from. But I want you to start using your devices to build your business. Start taking notes with your tablets. Start using your tablets to do Zoom conferences with people and things like that. Because even at a time like this, use this COVID-19, this Corona stuff. I've been like using this time so beneficially. Like I've grown so many different areas during this time because I want to come out of this better. So like Zoom and all that kind of stuff, guys, your relationships with your clients are going to be better through Zoom. So if you're saying, hey, I don't know how to use Zoom yet, I haven't really start using Zoom and stop doing regular phone calls with people. If you got clients, if you've got business partners that you're working with in your business, start setting up Zooms and do Zooms where you guys can see each other and engage with each other because it's a much better experience. It creates more trust. And it makes people more responsible because when people are on the phone, a lot of times they're doing other stuff. And you don't even know that they're not paying attention. When they're on Zoom, you can pretty much see what people are doing. You can engage with them better. So I'm just telling you to do things that way. So we got the technology, the devices, the past, present. One more thing I want to talk about, being too available. So this is the last thing, guys. And especially if you're my age. If you're in your 40s and you're available, you got some things going on because you should not, some of y'all are way too available. You're an entrepreneur. You've got to make yourself unavailable so that you can focus on what you need to be focusing on. Like a lot of times when people call me, I don't answer my phone. I'll wait till the phone call ends and then I'll text them and see if I can help them via text. If I have to call, like sometimes you guys will message me and I'll tell you to call me because it's something that a call is more appropriate to make a call. But I control that myself by not allowing people to call me and respond. So this is what I'm trying to get you guys to do is to have control based on not being available. If a Dale Green calls me, right, as silly as this may sound, I may not take his phone call and I might call him back in 5 minutes. Why do I do that? Because I have to be on my schedule, not somebody else's schedule. Does that make sense? You're training your brain because guess what happens? Let me tell you what happens whenever somebody calls you, you answer. Whenever somebody emails, you respond. Whenever somebody text messages, you text them back. Guess what you told your brain? That you're in response mode. Your day is based on responding to other people. This is why you use your cell phone to decide what you're going to do next. You sitting there and you're looking at the ceiling. You grab your phone and you look at your text messages, your emails, and your social media to figure out what you're about to do next. It's a responsive mindset. As opposed to you knowing what you need to do based on you having a to-do list and something that controls what you do, not responding to something. I shouldn't be looking at my phone and saying, okay, what do I need to be doing? Oh, I got to respond to this guy. Or I got to respond to this email. Or I got to call this person back. Or let me check my voicemail and see if I miss a voicemail. That's a responsive mindset. You're training your brain to continue to do that. So what happens is your brain starts to say, oh, you know what? This person only has something to do when somebody needs them to do something. As opposed to you proactively saying, this is what I need to be doing because I got a to-do list. So what do? If I'm sitting here and I find myself that I've dazed off, when my alarm goes off, guess what I do? I stop my alarm on my phone and I grab my to-do list. Because this is what I have to do. Responding to you is what you have to do. I'm responding to what you need me for. So I'm not telling you to ignore people. What I'm telling you is your agenda has to be first. This is why some of your jobs won't let you bring your cell phone into work. They want you to concentrate on what they're paying you to be there for. You can't use your cell phone on my time because I'm paying you to be here for 8 hours. But we're entrepreneurs, and what we end up doing is saying, hey, you know what? I can do whatever I want to do. I'm on my own time. I can answer my cell phone whenever I want to. I don't do that. I don't allow people to control how my day works. So what I do is if you call me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore your phone call and I'm going to call you back or I'm going to text you and ask you what you need. Now, it's a couple of people that answer their phone calls because of who they are, right? So I do answer some phone calls because I know that you're a person that you're productive, and I also know that when you call me, you're not going to tell me you need me for 5 minutes and have me on the phone for 45 minutes. So I gauge all of that. If you call, you got one time to do that to me. Hadn't even talked to you for 5 minutes. If it's been on more than 5 minutes, you won't ever get me like that again. You call me the next time, I'm going to text you, make sure, because I have to control my time. I have to make sure that I'm doing what I need to get done within that time frame, and I can't do that if I'm responding to every text, every email, everything. So some of you are way too available, even to your family, as much as that may hurt. Your family has to know that there's times you can't be available. If you work from home and you have an office space, you need to have a sign on your door that says, do not disturb at a specific time. And your kids and your spouse need to honor that, because you're running a business and you can't be productive if people are knocking on your door throughout the day while you're supposed to be working from home. I don't care if they're telling you, hey, you know what? Oh, I was just checking on you, see if you need something to eat, because people, they play you like they're looking out for you. I was just checking to see if you was hungry. Guess what? My alarm gonna let me know when I'm hungry, and I'm gonna come out here and get something to eat. I appreciate you. But when that sign says do not disturb, that means do not disturb, right? So you gotta stand your ground if you really wanna build something, I guess you could say build an empire, build something substantial, or put yourself in a position where you really consider yourself to be wealthy and successful. You gotta make sacrifices. And you have to understand that your 24 hours in a day are your 24 hours. And you use them for whatever you want to use them for. If you want to give them to somebody else, go right ahead and do that. That's up to you. But all I'm telling you is when somebody hits, because when people give me that sob story, why you can't make time for me? Well, because these my 24 hours. Your 24 hours are yours. Don't tell me what to do with my 24 hours. If me not making time for you means that you don't want to be bothered with me, then don't be bothered with me, because this is my 24 hours and I use it for what I want to use it for. So if I want to spend time with my kids, I'm going to do that. If I want to spend time with somebody that I'm dating, then I'm going to do that. If I don't and I choose not to, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but that's my choice because those are my hours. I respond to people when I feel like I have the time to respond to them, because I have to make sure I'm doing what's on my on my to-do list. So if you're saying, well, my family is important, well, then put them on your to-do list. That's all. I'm not telling you. You do whatever you want to with it. If 8 hours a day go to your kids, that's totally fine. That's your business. All I'm telling you is you need something to operate from. What you put on this operating system is up to you, but you need to have an operating system, because if you're flying by the seat of your pants and other people are dictating what you do next, you're losing. You're losing. Because you can't build a business when everybody's pulling you in every direction. And that's plain and simple. Like it doesn't matter how you feel about it, it's the truth. So like my family know, my friends know, my kids know, everybody know, my mother know. Look, that's my mama. Like my mother, I'm a mom, I'm the youngest, I'm her only son. Like, believe me, all of the mama's boy stuff. Like, if my mother called me right now and say she's sick, I'm flying to Buffalo, and I don't care if I catch corona on the way, because that's my mother. But my mother know during business hours, if it's an emergency, call me 3 times. If you don't call me 3 times, I ain't answering your phone call. She know that. My mother know that. And she called me anyway. She called me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And she know I ain't gonna answer. And she don't take it personal because she knows that I'm working. So I'll text her and say, Mom, why you calling me? You know I'm working. She said, I wanted to ask you a question. I said, you better text me. She said, can I FaceTime you? I say, no, Mom, you can't see me right now. You're going to have to text me. I'll FaceTime you later on. Right? That's my mother. But again, guys, I have to, in order for me to do what I need to do, right? In order for me to do that, I have to have the space to do it. I have to have the space to do it. So, guys, you got to understand that. It's part of the levels of becoming a successful entrepreneur. You cannot let people control your time. You can't. You can't. Good one. I like that. Discipline is posture, right? You have to take those things serious. So, guys, that's it. I hope you guys got something out this 4-part series that we went over. You can unmute yourself if you got any questions. Anybody that needs to drop off at this point, you guys can go ahead and drop off. I know you guys got other